Hey guys, I am going to be trying something really cool today. I'm hoping that it works. I can't wait to share with you. So I'm going to be working on making my own reusable silkscreen stencil. I know, awesome. So this is a special kind of vinyl. I bought this off Amazon. I will link it for sure. It's called Oracal. It's a strength of 631. I picked this color. It was actually a little bit cheaper than some of the other options. I'm going to cut it on my silhouette pretty much like regular vinyl. It's a foot tall. Just gotta get started here. Heck. All right. So I'm gonna cut it to about probably 6.5 is more than enough. Because it's not going to be as wide as the thing. And I only need it to be probably only 7 inches tall, but I'm going to make it 8 inches just for simplicity's sake. So the design I'm using is a really cool font, and what I'm going to be doing is cutting out 3 huge words with like it's a song lyrics. And I'm going to take some different colors of paint and try to scrape and make like a multicolor paint. I actually got the idea from Silhouette Studios Instagram. So what you also will need is this Heatnbond. That is what will make this stick to your Silkscreen, which I actually haven't even opened yet because I was waiting for the other 2 parts to come in the mail today, which they did. Like I said, I will link everything below. I'm hoping that it works. I know on bigger designs it will work. This is going to be a tighter font, so it'll be interesting to see. But you're also going to need an iron, so I will create a list of products that you will need. So what I think I'm going to do is just kind of hand cut a piece of this silkscreen right now. I just want everything ready so that I can film all the steps together. And I'm not even honestly sure how much comes in the package, but for now I'm just going to loosely cut it. And then basically once you iron it and use the Heatnbond, it kind of becomes really stiff, and then I can trim it better. So it's this like nice silkscreeny stuff. And I really hope this works because I am so excited. So this one is a 5-yard, and I got like an extra strength. I felt like I probably could have gone with a slightly lighter strength, but this is what the person on the YouTube video suggested and shared. So this is what I bought. And I'm gonna do the same thing and just freehand cut a piece of this to match, which I will trim a little better with my trimmer. And I'll probably not ever really be doing much larger than like a 6x8 stencil. So it looks like I can get two out of like a small sheet. Like this set of products is really gonna last me a while, I think. So let me get my design cut on my silhouette. We'll share with you what that looks like, and then I will show you the steps of what all we're doing here. And then we will attempt to see if my big idea will work. I'm so excited. Okay guys, so I've got my Heatnbond trimmed down just slightly smaller than the top of the stencil, and we're actually going to meld these together first. So we're gonna go iron this for about 10 seconds at around 280. I don't have a heating press, I just have an iron, and unfortunately I can't plug it in near my desk here. So I'm gonna go iron it and I will be right back. I am back. I'm gonna try a new design. So here I have my Heatnbond melted onto the top of my vinyl. Right now I have about a 7 by 7.5 inch block. You want it to be slightly smaller so that the glue doesn't like go over the edges. I'm gonna send it to my silhouette. I had to go with a simpler design, and what I'm struggling with is still getting it to cut properly, partly I think because the design I was trying before just had too many lines. They were too fine, they were too close together. But the Heatnbond was keeping my silhouette from cutting through properly. So I've been trying a few different settings, but I'm gonna go with a simpler design and see if that works. So fingers crossed that it comes out. And I will show you what it looks like when I am finished cutting. Okay guys, so weeding out my project here, I ended up using a number 3 setting for my second round. And you can see it did not cut through the backing, so I'm hoping to have a little bit more success with this one. I'm going to keep weeding and then I'm going to try the project all over again. Okay guys, so the next step after weeding out the vinyl is to peel off the Heatnbond, because what we're going to be doing next is melting the Silkscreen onto that adhesive. So I'm just using my paper piercing tool to help get rid of all the little pieces, but you want to make sure that all the insides of your letters are there if that's the look that you're going for. There are different alphabets, so I'm just using that to help peel up all the extras that are left behind. And then I have a larger piece of Silkscreen that I'm going to melt on there. It really, you kiss it with the iron for about 3 seconds. I had an issue with one of my previous attempts, so I ended up, I think, doing it for about 5 seconds because I have a small iron. The people using them online in the tutorials that I saw have heating presses, which cover the whole thing. My iron's smaller, so I needed to kind of move it around. And in my previous attempts, the Silkscreen did not stay stuck to the inner pieces of the letters, so I really wanted to make sure that they were stuck down. So I did it on the top, and I also flipped it over while everything was inside of the parchment paper. And unfortunately I have to iron off screen, but I'll be back one moment to show you what it looks like. So I did a little bit of trimming around the edges to get the Silkscreen to be the same size. And here I'm going to attempt to put this on a patterned paper. So what you can see there is I'm peeling the stencil off of the backing. It's technically reusable, but I had issues with it being a little too adhesive on paper. Crafters who I found videos online were doing it on chalkboards and signs, and it might have had a different adhesive. But right now, what you can't see off camera is I'm actually taking that thing and sticking it to my shirt over and over again to try to get it a little fuzzy so that it does not rip my paper when I go to peel it off, which was an issue I ran into earlier. So I think I probably stuck it to my shirt at least 5 or 6 times. And I'm going to place it down on my paper. I'm going to make sure that everything's lined up straight and then push down as hard as I can, especially right around the screen print areas, so that the paint does not seep underneath and leak. So now I'm going to take my washi tape, and I'm actually going to do the same thing where I'm sticking it to my shirt several times because I also had issues with that ripping my paper. So I'm going to make everything as easy to remove as possible. And I want to make sure that I'm kind of protecting my paper from paint and the edge of the stencil as well so that I don't have any mishaps. So there I've jumped ahead to where all four sides are covered, pushing down semi-firmly. And now I'm going to get ready to start my painting. So I have a paper towel next to me because I'm going to be doing a rainbow paint and I'm going to need to clear off my tool. So I had on the right hand side there my We Are Memory Keepers tool, but I didn't want to use that. I use that more often for vinyl. I didn't want to get paint buildup on it. In the upper left hand corner there you might see that black Heidi swap tool. That is actually a screen print tool that I've had in my stash for a really long time when she came out with kits a long time ago. So I'm using Liquitex paints, acrylic paints, and I'm doing a fluorescent pink, a medium orange, a cadmium yellow, a lime green. This one's a bright aqua green, and then turquoise. Those are the 6 colors that I'm working with here. And I wish I had spent a little more time paying attention to where they were. The pink is right over the summer, the orange is right over the sunburn, because I wanted them to bleed into each other a little bit more. But I'm still happy with how this came out. So you'll see how that goes in a minute. So I'm just about to start. Then I realize I have my tool backwards. And if you don't have a tool like this, you can use folded up cardstock with a hard edge. You can use an old credit card. The point is you just want to put it at an angle and slowly drag it over the screen, making sure you're kind of pressing down firmly enough that the paint will go down inside the screen without smearing. So there you can see I've got my paint build up. I'm going to wipe that off so it doesn't transfer to the other colors. So I get this rainbow ombre effect. And it's only going to take me 3 attempts to go through it. I could probably have drugged the paint over again, but I just tried to go slow and push hard enough, and I honestly just prayed that the paint would work, because once you peel this up, it'd be really hard to get it. You could reposition it, but you risk messing up the paint and smearing things, because it's certainly not going to be dry quickly enough. And this is not the kind of thing that you want to leave sitting around. You want to pull this up as soon as possible so everything doesn't stick together as it dries. And then you can normally, especially with store-bought ones, wash and reuse these over and over again. They won't feel sticky, but once they start drying, the adhesive will be reactivated. So I'm going to remove my washi tape in the order that it was, in the reverse order of when it was placed down, so that I don't have any issues. And you can see I jumped ahead a little bit. And then I'm going to very, very slowly, with my fingers crossed there as you can see, start peeling the stencil back. So it's still very sticky, especially on this paper. I did not want it to rip, so I took my time. As I peeled back a little bit over the pink area, I noticed that part of the sunrise word needed a teeny bit more paint. So I'll pause and add just a little bit more, especially where the die is, sorry, the I is dotted, and a little bit, I believe, on the E. It just didn't quite, especially that was right at the end of that stroke, so it just didn't get quite enough paint. For the rest of it, I don't even worry about trying to attempt to fix any color. Most of it is fine. And I was a little bummed because I did almost get the entire stencil removed without any issues. Some of the more tight areas stuck, some of the insides of the letters stuck, and you'll see towards the end there a little piece is going to tear. So unfortunately, I have not yet been able to make one of these be reusable, but it's still a really inexpensive alternative for a fun craft that adds some really cool dimension to your projects. And I think all 3 supplies were purchased for around $24. The adhesive that I bought is 12 inches by 6 feet. You can get it in a variety of sizes and colors. The Silkscreen was not very expensive, and neither was the Heatnbond. So really happy with how it came out. I hope you are inspired to try your own. I will show you a live view here in just a moment, and I will make sure to have all the supplies included. Let me know what you think, and thanks so much for watching. Bye for now. Well, it is not perfect, but I still am pretty happy with it. A little bit of the blue smeared when I pulled the thing off. Got a teeny bit of paint over here on the side from my hand, but you'll never notice that. Love it. Definitely not reusable, but it makes a really cool screen. And it has some cool texture. I love that I decided to put it on the pattern paper instead of the plain white. It was just too boring. So I just gotta let this dry and then I'll be attaching it down.